Hi, everyone, and welcome to Inside Exposure, which is basically a series of conversations with our extended family and friends from around the world. The plan for this series is basically to share stories and conversations with you all that we hope will be relevant and valuable to you. There is no relevant time than now to be having these kinds of discussions, and we want to just basically showcase the important people initiatives that aim to create opportunity for other people. So today I'm happy to introduce Natalie Wade, who is the founder and creator of Small Green Shoots. First of all, I wanted to go into my own relationship and knowledge of Small Green Shoots and Natalie as well. So I started Queerbruk 2 years ago in 2018. And last year, I was on a photo shoot with Fee McKenzie, who used to be at Notion magazine as the fashion editor, and she left Notion and was at Moxie, which is a influencer agency. And then she started a magazine called Ally. And I went on the photo shoot and I helped out, and you were there being shot for this. And then we spoke afterwards. I remember you were talking and then you were like, oh, so what do you do? So I told you about Queerbruk, and then you literally grabbed my arm. I remember you grabbed my arm, you hit it, and you were like, Akeil, why didn't you tell me this before? This is the exact kind of thing I get funding for. And it's weird because I just never thought of Queerbruk as being something that kind of would be engaging with that. And so then I took your email address, I emailed you the next day. And
you didn't think that I would email you back, but I did.
No, I didn't. I genuinely didn't think that you were going to email back.
He's so is not believing anything I'm saying. He's thinking.
I know. I was literally just like, what rubbish? I'm never going to hear from her again.
I was right back at you.
Yes. Then you emailed back, and then that got the ball rolling. I spoke to your team, and then we started discussing making a proposal and building a portfolio to basically get send out to get funding. And then in January of this year, money hit my account.
And you were richer than your wildest dreams.
I was rich. God damn it, rich.
No, exactly. Yes.
And yeah, and then so what that enabled me to do was start to build my brand and to build my platform. I was able to register it as a business. I was able to trademark the name and the logo. I've been able to build the social media platforms, meaning that I can actually work with young queer people of color to basically help design what I'm doing. I was able to throw a sick party back in February, yeah, which you came to. And yeah, so that was all amazing. So that was basically my own relationship with Small Green Shoots. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
That was the last time I exercised as well.
I know, we danced a lot. We danced so much. But that was amazing because what we managed to do is we had the biggest venue that we'd ever had. We had almost 500 people come. We had performers. We had just such a sick night. It was just amazing to see all of the people there. And yeah, it was incredible. And that was down to the amazing money that I was able to get from you guys. And so that's basically my relationship with Small Green Shoots. And so, yeah, this is Natalie Wade.
Hey.
And I just wanted to hear from you. Can you just say what Small Green Shoots is and what the ethos of the brand is?
I'll say. So Small Green Shoots champions low-income, diverse, BME, Black, POC young people, help them find their way into the industry and build like long-term careers. So it's not just about, getting them work experience or just getting them a job. It's about, developing them to prepare for a long-term career.
Yeah.
A lot of the young people that we work with, they don't come from the kind of households or backgrounds where they have any industry connections in the media or in the music industry.
Yeah.
So it's really important that we are that connection. And one of the good things about our industry is there's no it's not like banking or something. There's no formal training route or accountancy. And we kind of use that and say, okay, well, you don't actually have to go to university. You don't actually have to pay loads of money for this course. You just have to learn the character building, and you have to learn how to multitask and to work hard in a creative space and learn a range of transferable skills that you can apply to any one of those kind of areas in the sector. And it's been really successful. We've got shoots at the moment that work at Modest Management, Atlantic Records, 2 at Universal, 2 at Wyden and Kennedy, actually, brand agencies as well. Another one that's at Insanity, and another one that's at Music Publishers Association. I've actually got one that works at VW too, which was a particular success because sometimes they come in thinking, yeah, music, and then they're like, yeah, this is long and you don't get paid much money. What else can I do? And we've got him on accelerated promotion scheme at VW. So he's like 17 years old and he's earning 23 and a half grand a year.
Wow.
He's going to be a manager by the time he's 20. So
I know.
It's great, isn't it? What are we doing?
I know.
Small Green Shoots does, but we do it in a way that is real. So we don't micromanage. We give them loads of responsibility. One of my big sayings is, don't mess it up, I know where you live. One of my sayings is, well, you've really messed that up, haven't you? How are you going to fix it?
Yeah.
You know, because we really think it's really important to give them responsibility, to give them confidence, but also to build resilience. Because a lot of the young people we work with, they don't come from like you. In a way, Akeil, you were like, oh my God, well, I just got all this money and I'm going to do.
Yeah, it was frightening. Yeah.
Well, you told me what you want to do it, and you're like, okay, do I need to report? Do you need to take some? I was like, no.
Yeah, I remember sending you an email being like, do you need me to report back to you with what?
No, I was just like, you update. We'll have an update, and you'll tell me how it went, and take some risks, because we don't come from the background where risk taking is allowed. We don't have that kind of
it's true.
There, and that's how people really. I've seen in my career, that's how people. Not from my background have succeeded. They've taken risk upon risk, and it's just they might have had a little hit a wall, but they've bounced back because they've been allowed to take those risks. So
exactly,
that's what we do. So we do that kind of thing by helping the young people that we work with day to day. They run everything in the office. They do the accounts. They're trained in Zero. They do the fundraising. They do our budgets. They curate our entire program. I'm literally just a facilitator to what they want to do, and that gives them that responsibility. And then you, Akeil, as you know, the guys that worked on your application, you became their client or their accounts, if you like. So they were like working for you, and because they're passionate about you as a person and being like them, they really are motivated to make it work.
I found that actually when I was speaking to a lot of the people that was emailing me, I actually found. Because they were all passionate.
No one was championing you at every
meeting. They really were. They really were.
We've got to make deadline.
Yeah, and it didn't feel corporate, if that makes sense. It felt like these people were actually for me, and we were emailing back and forth, and we were talking about the actual music that I play. We were talking about the kind of events that I do and stuff like that, and it just felt like it was really organic, the conversations that I was having, and that makes a difference. It really does make a difference.
It's authentic. That's what it is.
Yeah, it felt authentic.
Well, Lauren was your point person.
Lauren was.
And she was, every meeting, she was like, we've got to get Akeil's application over the line. We've got to make it work. I want to make it stronger. I want to make sure it goes through first time, because sometimes you get rejections and you have to come back. And she really championed you. And that's what each of the shoots do for their clients. So really, I mean, I don't let anyone else call you this, darling, but you really were a byproduct of a really successful kind of project of training up those young people to work with you, how to work with a client and learn how to, facilitate you, and take your business to the next level. So that bit is the outcome of what we do, but it's the shoots. It's all about the young people that work in the office. They run everything, they help bring in the money, and they work with brilliant clients like yourself. Yeah,
well, thank you very much. Well, right now, going off of that, right now is a very interesting time in history, because we are not just in a moment of lockdown with COVID-19, but we're also in the BLM movement, the Black Lives Matter. And has your work for Small Green Shoots had to change at all?
God. I don't even know where to start. Do you know what? You guys should feel special. I was saying to Raoul, this is the first time I've put lipstick on in about 3 months.
I get dressed up every day. Look, I've got a fan.
But you did not. That does not surprise me, and I expect nothing less from you.
Exactly.
It's been crazy. We had to come completely offline. When you're our training is real work, real life training, like you're not made up a Akeil, you're not a test case, you're a real person with a brilliant idea that needed to be invested in, have that seed money. And our office is very much about, them saying to me, oh, what shall I do? And me saying, I don't know, what do you think you should do? Then just do it. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes I see accidents coming, but I have to that's the hardest thing about my job. I have to let them happen.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, you learn from it, and we just go, okay, how are you going to fix it? and then they fix it, and that's the bit I'm proud of. But I'm there. I'm at least over the shoulder. I can at least see it coming. I can at least see it in hand. And then when lockdown happened, everyone had to. I mean, first of all, I didn't realize the level of digital deprivation there was out there, and by that, half of my crew didn't have any devices to work from home.
Really?
20 young people, 10 of them didn't have anything to work from home.
Wow.
And that's with 5 of our office laptops. I just said take them home. So really, it was 15 of them didn't have a laptop out of 20.
Right.
So 75% of our young people didn't have anything to work from. And I was saying, but you work for me after hours, you do this, and they say, yeah, but Nat, you set up the homework club at Google, we go there, or we go to the library, or everything closed. They have nothing. You've got to understand how that is when you're isolated and then you're digitally isolated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, we had 3 of them that had no Wi-Fi at home, phone lines got cut off, parents on 0-hour contracts, some of them were living independently. I've got 2 young mums, literally no outdoor space, babies at home in one room. It was just so tough for them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You see us, we're all sitting here, okay, you really just got my kitchen cupboards in the background right now. But at least I have a kitchen, and I've managed to get rid of my son in the garden by giving him loads and loads and loads of junk food and ice cream. And my other half's on a bike somewhere, who cares? But they're in a bedroom with 3 other young siblings in some cases.
Right, yeah.
So it was so difficult for them. So the first thing I did is I did a collection of laptops from people in the industry. So secondhand laptops that I got one of my old shoots who now works in IT for a music law firm to recondition. Oh, wow. Yeah, he reconditioned them. And we brought those into use, and I just went around delivering dongles, data packs, whatever they needed. I then furloughed my management team because all of our events, bang, 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 all of our projects, all of the people we work for, everything stopped. Funding stopped, everything.
Yeah.
So no money coming in. And I had to furlough my management because they were on the good contracts, the PAYR contracts, where they had paid in for a lot. They were older, they'd paid in.
Yeah,
my younger ones, they were either newly freelance or hadn't paid into the system for long enough. They would be left with nothing. And I had 4 kids under 19 who were the sole breadwinners for their household.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not rich, I don't pay big money, but they were dependent on that income. So I could not let that happen. So I kept every single young person I kept on, and I furloughed the people that make my life easy, the management.
Yeah.
They're now off furlough because we're doing okay. Yay! So I can breathe, and I can be doing this with you here now and putting lipstick on and even run a tongs through my hair this morning.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Thank you, I tried. I've actually only done the front. You don't want to see the back, it's like dreadful.
No, it's okay. My hair's flat on the back, don't worry.
It's like, you can see that, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
So everything in the structure changed, but it was really important that I kept the young people on, not just earning, but also that routine, that every day, 10 o'clock, 4 o'clock, Zoom meeting, what are we doing? Keep on target, keep this. And each one of them said in their diaries, in their video diaries, it just kept me focused. It got me through it. It kept me, I have to get up. And we don't do see how Raoul's doing the blank screen thing? Yeah, we can't do that small green shoots, yeah. You've got to show yourself. You've got to be up and at your desk or bed or wherever, dressed, ready to go.
Yeah.
But, unless you call me in advance and say, I really can't face it, then it's fine. But it was more just so that we were all with each other.
Yeah.
And we were supporting each other. And
I need that kind of structure as well. When I have a structured day, it just works out better for me.
Absolutely. So we got over that. We started bringing in funding. And then all of a sudden, Black Lives Matter here, and literally morale. Was low.
It's tough.
Oh my gosh. I think it's probably, and don't forget, COVID, I mean, I was literally spending out of my reserves, which is your rainy day money.
Yeah.
That with reserves. And I've never spent a pound of my reserves in my whole career. And I was like that in Corona. So, but forget Corona, this was 10 times worse.
Really?
Oh my gosh, the way it hit them, it was like a missile. It was like one day we were like this, and then Blackout Tuesday happened, and they were on the floor. Morale was so low. It was a mixture of, I think the worst thing was it was resentment, even to me, and we're such a close network group, but it was like, why have you got us doing this? Why have you got us believing?
Yeah.
Why have you got us thinking oh yeah, we can do all this and we can go into these companies and they're going to want us? Why have you got us thinking we can have a career?
Feeling really dejected and kind of.
Oh my God, we were actually angry, because for that day, they were like, you know, you're just selling us rubbish. Like, it's
and,
never
and not knowing where to kind of like direct that anger.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just, you know, when you just got to take it and, you know, and also we've got, you know, I was going to say, we've got some white people. I've got 2 white people in my organisation. We're extremely black-led.
Yeah, yeah.
But also, I'm mindful of them too.
A lot of women as well.
Yeah. Oh my God.
A lot of women.
We are literally
Right.
75% women right now.
Yeah, I don't think I spoke to a man when my application was going. I don't think I spoke to a man when my application was going.
We've got some juniors.
We've got some...
You do need people to kind of, you know, paper and
yeah.
No, they're great. They're fantastic. I love them all. But yeah, they were, you know, I was mindful of them and how they were feeling, because we're a close knit group, and it was an outpouring, and it was just like you said, they were dejected, and they just didn't see the point. They were like, what are you even doing with us? What are we even doing here? You know, like, we're just going to live these lives that we're predetermined.
Yeah.
And getting over that took a while, and it took a while for me. The next day, my boy, he goes to a boarding school. Actually, he got a scholarship, and he goes to a boarding school in Horsham, but obviously he's been home for Corona. And we were talking about it, and, you know, he realized the weight of responsibility on him because he has privilege.
Yeah.
You know, we went through mixed race privilege. Do you know what I mean? We went through
1000%.
Oh, my sister who's Jewish got opportunities that I would never get probably, and I probably got these opportunities that my cousin Taish didn't get. You know, and wouldn't have got, you know, and the outpouring of, like, it's so exhausting because you do a rerun of your, I don't know if you probably had this, Akeil, but you do a rerun of your entire life. And mine is a little bit longer, despite these
just a couple years. Yeah.
It was a long download. It was like, you know, when you're like, is that game still downloading? Jesus. Yeah. It was like that, of every moment where you doubted and you thought, 1 minute, have I just been invited to this panel because, or have I just been invited into this room, you know? And the shoots were going for exactly the same. Yeah. They were saying, why did you give me this opportunity? Or would I have got it then? Or why didn't I go to university? Why was I not confident enough to go to university? Yeah. Or why did I keep getting excluded? I wasn't that bad. I really wasn't. Or one of them saying, why did I go to a behavioural school when I just had dyslexia? But there was no the learning disability. So the black kid went into the behavioural school, but he never had behavioural problems, you know? Yeah. So it was unpicking all of those things and a lot of honest, horrible conversations.
Yeah, and so is that how you kind of worked through it? Was just basically sitting each of them down and basically talking through?
Well, we had a big group one on blackout, and then everybody was just with a lot of anger, and then we took the rest of the day, and I even gave my son the day off homeschool, and we went to bed. I slept the whole day. I was so down.
Yeah. I bet.
So I, you know, and then the next day I didn't want to get out of bed, but I knew I had to. And then we just did one-to-ones with everyone. Yeah. And it was like, look, you know, I'm not selling you a dream. I really believe this. And you might think I'm naive, but I see something in you. Yeah. I do. And I see it in you as an individual. And we might have to work a bit harder than the other.
Exactly. Well, that's what I was going to say. I think it's engaging with people not as something monolithic. Yeah. And making sure that you speak to them individually, understand exactly where their anger and their upset comes from, and it's an individual story, and then there's an experience there that might be different from the next person, even though
some were in denial. Some were like, I don't want to hear about it.
Exactly. But then it's understanding. But it's understanding where that denial comes from, and it's understanding how that other person's anger comes from, that it could be coming from a very similar place, or it could be coming from 2 different places completely.
Absolutely. And I had others that were apathetic. I think you can't expect a group of young people from different backgrounds, young black people, to react the same way.
Yeah, it's completely.
Kaleidoscope.
Because I think that's almost damaging in and of itself, is to expect everyone to react the same way.
Yeah, it was somewhat apathetic. Some were like, oh, it's not touching me. It's nothing to do with me, almost, you know?
For sure.
And I was like, okay, you might not think that. That's okay. So how are we going to deal with everybody else who it is affecting? And
exactly. Yeah.
How are we going to stop it getting in your face when you're trying to focus on getting to the next stage in your career? Because we've set career goals together. How are we going to get there? You know, that kind of thing. So just keeping on track. It's a lot better now, but it's taking time. We're climbing out of it.
Well, that's good. That's good. But it is going to take time, because this whole thing is something that has been a long time coming anyway.
Yeah.
But talking about Black Lives Matter, as we've just mentioned, has it been a conscious thing for you to basically engage and upskill young kids of color, or has that just been something that Small
You know
Green
what's
Shoots
so
has just
funny? I
done?
couldn't say that before, but I don't have
What?
to lie anymore.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. So, like, it's obviously my platform is about queer people of color,
Yeah.
and I have found that there's been a lot of derision from people who said, "Oh, how come you're doing it just for one group of people?" But I'm just like, this is the whole point of it, is to create an environment that is just for these people, because they're usually shut out from a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so that's my question to you: is that has it always been conscious that this is about upskilling young kids of color, or has it just been for everyone and anyone, and
You know
now with Black
what?
Lives Matter?
I grew up in a council flat. I'm the oldest of 14. You didn't know that?
I did not
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, my dad is Jamaican. Don't say anything. My dad, she remarried a Jewish guy who is my stepdad, who I love so much. So but I grew up in on the 11th story of a council flat in Hackney, in Stratford, by the Bow flyover. So I totally, I was surrounded by that, and no one, when I went into the industry, again, don't be fooled by these devilishly young looks. I have been around, as Ral has just pointed out. But no one really was like me in succeeding. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they'd be on reception, or they'd be an assistant, which is no small thing, but you wouldn't see them beyond that. Now you see a lot more in music, but not so much in TV, not so much in media, not so much in brands, and we're on the front of things. But then I'd walk into these ivory towers and I wouldn't see anyone. I mean, it was ivory, literally. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, literally, and
Yeah.
architecturally.
Yeah, my thing was always low income. I came from a shithole area, and even if one of your parents had a job, that was a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm about shoots that say, look, I know, I my parents might not have one, but I know what a job looks like. I've never seen a career. And my thing has always been about that. It just so happens when you work with low income communities, a hell of a lot of them are people of color.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
I pick them based on low income. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. So that's how you've always looked at it.
It just so happens.
Yeah. It just so happens that they were people of color. So now, how do you think about it?
Now I think that I can. Now I think I could just be open about it. I would never turn someone away on the basis of their color. If it's
of course not.
Young person or whatever. But I can definitely be pro. I can definitely be honest now. I've got labels now calling me up and saying, "Oh, we would love to have a black person, one of your black people, come in and work."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, okay, fine."
You're like, okay.
It's a bit like, is this even right, what you're saying?
Yeah.
Because I know that young person, and I know what an opportunity that will be for them, and I know they will flourish if they give it a chance.
Yeah.
So it's kind of opening up of the world. I've decided I'm gonna not sweat the small stuff, and I'm gonna jump in, because that's my job for the young people I work with, is to make it a nice space for them and jump in, take those opportunities when they come. I'm not going to be snippy about it, because it's not, I'm okay. I've got a kitchen, you know what I mean, and big hair. But they don't have all those things. They don't have all these amazing things. So I'm not going to be snippy. I'm going to jump right in and say, yeah, okay, you want to do that? Okay, I will do it, but we'll do it in a controlled situation. Whenever we second our shoots, which we do when they've been with us for at least 3 months and they're prepared for that role, we second them, but we stay in touch with the management or the line manager, and we check in on both sides, because it's really important to be there for both sides to make that relationship work. And that's why we've had so many long-term successes in jobs. Sometimes the line manager will be like, well, actually, they were late last week a couple of times, and I didn't want to say anything. And I'm like, what? They're not be doing that on my watch, I'll be on the phone and I'll be like, listen, how's it going? They're like, yeah, fine now, I'm doing fine. I said, yeah. So what happened to you on Tuesday and Thursday? And they're like, I didn't think they noticed. I'm like, yes, they noticed. They're not just going to call you out. You have to be conscientious. And all of a sudden, the lateness dries up. You know what I mean? So
it's not about just giving opportunity. It's also about instilling certain values and things like that.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yes.
Because ain't no one checking on you. When you go out into that workforce, you ain't got me sitting there checking on you, being like, please, you don't have that. Good and bad, you don't have that. So you are wrecking yourself, because your manager hasn't got time to nurture and mentor you. Do you know what I mean? So I'm there right up until that first appraisal. And I've even got someone who she just finished. She was managing Emily Sunday, and she called me up because she was leaving and was starting a new career for an internationally renowned composer. And she was like, I want to ask for more money. How do I do it? And I was just like, babe, you are 30 now.
Right.
We
Yeah.
did it, we worked through it, but we're there for the long term. We are the family, we are the network, and they will keep coming back. And the employer is welcome to do that too, because we want that experience to work for both sides, because that will see them through to the next level of their career.
Yeah. So yesterday, the BBC kind of wrote a story on apprenticeships, which I can share below, which is a really amazing piece. Basically, I'll just read it a bit about what it's about. So basically, it was about how disadvantaged young people in England are basically being failed by the apprentice system. And basically what it was saying was that 36%, there's been a 36% decline in people from disadvantaged backgrounds starting apprenticeships, basically compared to the 23% for other groups. And the Department of Education said it was absolutely committed to developing and levelling up opportunity across the country. So why do you think this is? Because when I think about the word diversity, it feels like a word that I've heard for many, many years now. And it feels like something that is been on people's lips, but it seems that there is, with each year, it seems to be declining.
I know exactly what you mean. It's so many different reasons. And also, before we even go there for diversity was what we've said, was what we say all over our website, diversity,
Yeah.
because you want to be inclusive, but it's quite a relief to be able to say Black people sometimes.
I know.
And also what you've got to remember is, there's a lot of contention about the word BAME, because a lot of companies can, the Asian experience is very different from the Black experience, which is very different from the minority ethnic experience.
Yeah.
So we're still in the early days of fleshing all these terms out. But I think when it comes to apprenticeships, I just think you've got to think about, if you can't see it, it's very hard to imagine being it. If you can't see it, you can't be it.
It's true.
And when you're thrown into something and no one around you looks like you, or no one around you has the same reference points. I've had, a kid come to me and go, how did you go to the staff room for lunch? Did you have, because I make them they're like, oh no, I had my lunch on my own. I was like, no, go to the staff room and have your lunch there. What did you talk about? Because I forced him to go to the staff room. And he was just like, I couldn't get involved because they like cricket. And I don't know cricket. It's like, it's all that.
It's more things like that. Yeah.
They're a completely different social class. But he just felt totally out. He couldn't get into the conversation. And I think sometimes it's really difficult, even in places like manufacturing where everyone looks the same and does the same things.
Yeah.
It can be really intimidating for a young person going into that. They might sign up, but they often don't last. And this is a big frustration to me with media and music companies, because especially now, they're saying, oh my God, Nat, we want to start our own apprenticeship scheme. We want to start our own internship scheme. And I'm looking at them and I'm going, well, I've actually been successfully doing this for 10 years now. Why don't you start your own thing? and spend loads and loads more money than I probably did. And then take time getting it wrong, which you will, because you do.
Yeah.
What is often missed is pastoral care. And I don't just mean this for Black kids, I mean this for really low income kids too. They are fish out of water. They often come from a household where maybe one person works or a single parent or whatever. And it's daunting. And they need someone to go, am I doing this right? A bit of reassurance, a point person.
That it's like the apprenticeship is only one part of it. But there are other variables and stuff like that go into the reasons why people from low income backgrounds aren't quite fitting.
Absolutely. You've got to remember, we don't come from that sense of confidence and entitlement.
It's true.
Yeah, and my kid, when he was at school, he went for a really bad pit patch at his boarding school, and he wasn't sleeping, and I was so worried, and I was worried I was going to have to bring him out of the school, and it was such an opportunity. But he said, I don't know what I want to do. I was like, you're 11.
Yeah, I know.
But he's and I said to his roommate, who was very upper middle class, beautiful blonde haired kid, whatever, really lovely boy. And I said to him, Raphael, his name is, and I said, Raph, what did you say? He goes, well, I told Maceo, and I said to him, just don't worry about it. When you leave school, you just just go in business and be successful or something. And Maceo's looking at him like this. Is this kid for real?
It's for everyone. Yeah,
Good on Raphael, because that kind of just be successful. It's going to
yeah,
happen. That
yeah.
doesn't come to us. We're not born with that. So
No,
we need a bit of reassurance, and we need a bit of go for it, take a
yeah,
risk. If you fall, don't worry, we'll
yeah.
fix it. You know, you're not on your
I
own.
know for so many years I was too scared to jump into something for fear of failure because I felt like there weren't
Take a risk.
for me. And
Yeah.
I just got to the point where, and for like even for me, going to this shoot and then meeting you and this sort of like domino effect of me getting then the funding, it's like,
Imagine you take the risk and you didn't go.
exactly. Well, this is the thing is that there was a confidence thing for so many years where I know for me a couple of years ago I probably wouldn't have gone to this photo shoot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have felt like I wanted to be around people that I didn't really know that well. I didn't know what I was really doing. Whereas then me last year, I just sort of just like, no, just go. Whatever comes to me, when I was at this show, I was making people cups of tea and I was having a great time.
Yeah,
And
with
then
strangers, with strangers.
with strangers, exactly. And then we met.
You could have got it wrong. I was going to look like a fool. And so many of our young people feel like that.
Yeah,
I'm going to make
exactly.
a fool of myself. I'm not going to do it right. I'm going to look stupid. I think that way we are years behind our counterparts.
Yeah.
And that's what we need in organizations. And that's what we need. If you truly want to be diverse, and I mean low income, I mean Black, I mean social class, I mean neurodiversity, you've got to have a support system in place, because the people, our counterparts, have had that support system for years.
Yeah, being told
they've got a safety net.
Yeah.
They've got bank of mum and dad or whatever. They've got the role models. They've got they're years ahead of us when it comes to that. You know, we might all have the same smarts or whatever, but when it comes to that emotional, that kind of confidence, that natural confidence, that's a lot. That's hard to get. My mum even said to me, I said to Mum, you know what, I'm just questioning every time I got invited to be on a board or be on a panel. I actually sat around the table and thought, why am I here? Why did you ask me? Am I like the acceptable face of, is that why I'm here? And my mum said to me, oh no, you're so charismatic. You're so this, that, and the other. I said, Mum, no. And you don't really tell my mum no, because she's like,
no.
Red hair.
I do know about your mum.
Yeah, she is hardcore. Oh my God. Anyway, so she said to me, what do you mean no? And I said, Mum, charisma is something you're born with. I've learned this. This is learned behavior.
Yeah.
It's me, like me. Like, it even hurts me saying it now. Like,
it's true.
Oh, that's my truth. I'm like, this is learned behavior, and I can hardly turn it off, because I've had to be the first one always. Accept me, bring me in, like me.
I think I'm the exact same way. You put on this sort of clown. I put on this kind of clowny persona because I think it's funny, and my thing has always been jokes and laughs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get what you mean. It's kind of like you have to kind of be even more charismatic and even better in order to kind of be accepted.
More welcoming, even less threatening, less angry Black woman, less aggressive, less. I mean, just to be normal, and that is tiring. That can be tiring. Sorry, someone just walked in. But that can be tiring after a while. But it is genuinely me now. It's become me. But when I look at my shoots, I just think, I don't want you to have to be exhausting. Wouldn't it just be a relief to not have to create a persona and think about, oh God, is my passion coming across as anger? Is my tactileness coming across as threatening?
I feel that.
Am I coming across as moody?
I feel that.
It just would be nice if they didn't have to do that. And I think having that support in organisations, that pastoral support and reassurance and affirmation, it will take companies so far. But that's the thing they don't think about. They think, let's just get more Black people in, let's just get more women in. Let's just plonk them in.
So going on what you just said there, so do you think then it's important for companies and brands and organizations to consciously think about diversity? Or
100%.
Or do you think it should be more of an organic thing where they just know that people should get the role based on their skills and then also uplifting people?
It's both. I mean, no one wants to get a role where they don't have the skills and they're the shoe-in. No one wants to be. Not one of my shoots is going to be that person.
No.
You're going to get the role based on their talent,
on their skill and their talent,
and what they can bring, what they're going to grow into.
Yeah.
But I do think it's both. They have to think about diversity, because come on, we all know about subconscious bias. Do you know what I mean? We know about it. It's there. There's no getting away from it. Like, people didn't wake up after Blackout Tuesday and go, oh, and now we've seen the lights. Now we're all woke and we won't have the bias. It's like,
it's true. For a long time, I was so worried about my second name and whether I would even get interviews because of my second name.
Yeah, and so you should, because it's proven that you will get a lot less interviews and you will get regardless of this, you
Yeah,
know?
because I've got a very strong African surname, so it's like it was always a conscious thing. So for a long time, I was like, okay, cool, let me just change my. Then I was just like, no, that's not something I should have to do.
Absolutely.
And and luckily in my career, it's actually not been an issue at all. It's actually been, if not a positive, it's been a completely non-issue.
Yeah,
But
but it's one of the things that you've got to think about. And I prepare the shoots very intensely for presentation, for interview technique. They call me in the morning and they're like, they call me like a week before we plan what they're wearing, and then in the morning they're like, okay, they take a picture, I'll critique it. I mean, this is ridiculous. But
yeah,
I know they have to present something of themselves, especially
yeah,
for the boys that I'm working with, you
yeah.
know? They've got
But,
to, there's
but
no
then
way
that's
they're
not
wearing a
just for,
hoodie. There's no
yeah.
way they're putting their coat on.
I feel like that's not just something for other people, but it's also for themselves in a sense of confidence and feeling like you're worth being there.
Absolutely,
So I
absolutely.
feel like it's a positive thing, and yeah, they might not want to get out of that hoodie, but I think once they're in it, they actually feel like they're actually meant to be there, and they're supposed to be there, and they're worthy of being in the same room.
I did some interviews before lockdown for shoots, and I had white people and people of color there. And you want to see the boys in really nice grey Miles sweater, you know, designer jeans, da, 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 da. The black boys, shirts and trousers.
Oh, pop off.
Because obviously they're coming from a place of like their parents,
Yeah.
and their parents are interview, you can't look like
Yeah.
this, you know, whereas the white kids were totally relaxed. They were like, do you know what I
And
mean?
that's so interesting.
Yeah,
That's so,
totally relaxed. Whereas all the black kids were like this in their two
yeah,
it was all hot and like, yeah, you
yeah.
know,
They're in a
they wanted
three-piece
to come in a
suit.
suit. I was like, oh,
They've
but I
got,
thought that, oh, this is so,
yeah.
but it just shows you what they already at 17 and 18. I mean,
And the different kind of mindsets there
yeah,
with how
absolutely.
they go into approaching an interview. That's so interesting. I've never really thought about it like that.
Yeah, what they're preparing for. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So we've got to go a long way before we break those kind of barriers.
Yeah, of course, of
But it's very
course.
important that companies do go in and think, look, let's get diversity. You know, like let's make sure we have X amount of people in the interview stage. We don't have to give them the job, but let's make sure they get through to that interview stage so that we're seeing them and we're seeing
Yeah,
what they can give and what they can offer us, and
yeah,
break down those boundaries that way. You know, I think
yeah,
it's
for
really
sure.
important. And also secondments. I know that you guys at Exposure do a work experience program. I mean, it would be great to know if what's included in that work experience program, because at small green shoots, I don't like hearing no. So if someone says we're not going to pay, I will pay one of my shoots to be in your office. If you're
Yeah,
going to do like that, I'm not going to stop them having that opportunity. I'll find the money myself as a charity. Shame on you, and I'll pay myself, because
yeah,
that kid has got expenses, and do you know what I mean? Doesn't come from the kind of life where
yeah,
you know, they might live independently. They can't. Well, you know, what you've got to think about is if you have a program where they work for free, you are counting out X amount of low income people that can't even
yeah,
there, or you know, have dinner, or could be working their minimum wage job at Tesco's while they're there, because they've
yeah,
got to pay bills, they've got to pay rent, or they've got to help their mum or whatever else. So it's
yeah.
about putting it into action and policy and saying, look, we can't pay top dollar, but we can pay this.
Pay certain. Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely, you know.
Yeah,
So we've got those little things can make a huge difference. But also, it's a great way when you have someone in work experience or a secondment to get to know them, not everything else that goes with it. Just
yeah,
get to know them and what they're capable of.
yeah,
I really urge, you know, every organisation and creative organisation to, you know, be open to secondments, be open to experience situations and opening their doors, and you know, and making them more less intimidating places
yeah.
and welcoming places, and
Mm.
places that reflect the environment in which we live in. Is that too much to ask
And
for?
then also, I do find that when a team is more diverse, the work is so much better because they have different experiences to draw on in order to speak about a certain thing. Especially when you
Absolutely.
have somewhere that has multiple different clients that need different things. When you have a diverse team, then each person has a different expertise that they can come into something with. And so for me, I just
Absolutely.
find the work is better, more authentic. And that's what's so great about like, the team that I have at Exposure on the sports and culture team is that we're also diverse and we have different ways of thinking, ideologies, and also different life experiences. That we can each come into something with a different point of view, and then our ideas are better. The work that we do is better, and yeah. So
More
I just think that,
interesting. It's just more
and it's
interesting.
more interesting, and it's just more interesting, and it's
It's
just a
so
way more
interesting.
interesting place to be. Yeah,
It's very interesting.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So I actually want to hear more about Small Green Shoots now. So tell us some of the things that you're working on at the moment, like for instance, the Press Play for Pride thing, which I was a part of.
Of course you are.
Wait,
So
where's my fan?
yeah. I swear, I can't even work. I'm going through the menopause, or if it's just like, what's going on?
It's so
I'm like
hot.
this with my laptop. Yeah. So the two big things that we're working on is one, which is sponsor a shoot. So we had Ministry of Sound, Insanity, Concord Publishing, Sony, ATV, and fingers crossed it's going to be Islands tomorrow, taking on a shoot, so sponsoring a shoot. So Amazing. They will actually, so unlike, you know what you were saying in your stat, I wanted to go back to, we've just decided that we are going to take a risk and we're going to buck the trends and we are going to recruit 10 more young people, and they're going to have an amazing experience and they're going to be ready to launch their careers in the industry in 6 to 8 months. And we're going to pay them. They're going to have their own workstation, which they can take with them. We're going to make sure they've got the training they need, the pastoral support, any counselling. Me and Constance working with them every single day in the office. So Amazing. We're recruiting because we know from the news clippings that we shared earlier.
Yeah.
The people that are going to be hit worst in the economy, according to the Independent and the Guardian, are Black people and young people and low income.
Yeah. And that article actually, Nat shared that with me earlier. I'll share both the BBC one and then this Guardian one, which was amazing.
I know.
With everyone that's on.
It's going to be so tough coming out of this for everyone, but even more so for people on low incomes. And I can't tell you the outreach I've had to do. I mean, going to food banks and all kinds of stuff. You know, it's really tough for them right now. A lot of them have just had bills cut off now because their parents lost their jobs at the start of this. So, right. You know, if you think right now, this is when they just got their bills cut. You know what I mean? So I had to go and deliver dongles just yesterday. So it's really tough for them. So we're going to buck the trends and we're going to employ 10 young people. I already made that decision. And then I went round to the labels and I said, look, don't start your own whatever scheme unless you're serious about it. Let us prepare young people here. And they said, oh yeah, great. Can they come and work with us after? I said, of course they can go work with you after. If they want to, like, you know what I mean?
Of course, so, yeah.
So it's great. They're going to be seconding there. So they're sponsoring shoots at the moment, which is fantastic. They're giving us, I think, 7,000 per young person, and I match that through grant funding with another 10,000.
Amazing.
And that gives them full-time wages, permanent. They're protected on PAYE. They've got pensions, national insurance, everything. So that's a really exciting thing we're doing. The other thing that we're doing on the program, which you were talking about, is the shoots. Every shoot gets to curate a week of programming on our socials. Oh, and the lovely Leah curated your the Pride Week, the last Play on Pride, which is the contribution that LGBTQ people have given to music in nationwide and in the world. And just celebrating the contribution that they've given, which has been ginormous and, so far above, a lot of, what you can imagine. Like, it's not just like Elton John, it's every single thing in between, and you also. So Leah curated that. The week before, Lauren curated Refugee Week, which was, again, about the arts and music that refugee communities and asylum seekers have brought into this country over the years. So it's a celebration of, like, interviews, blogs, podcasts. They program the entire thing themselves. Our job is to just make sure it goes out there.
Yeah, amazing.
So they create all the content. So the shoots have to create all the content from scratch, including you.
Including me. I did a little video of my coming out.
So good. It was so good. It was really good.
I was saying to Leah, I was like, I'm very handsy with it. She was just like, handsy's fine, handsy's fine.
But it's great. You're a pro at this now.
I know, I have been. I've become a pro at talking to a camera that no one's there and telling my story. Literally, I've become an expert now. But what's next for Small Green Shoots? Like, what have you got coming up? What's next?
We've got one of the shoots is due, because it's National Reggae Day, I think, next week. So one of the shoots wanted to do that, which is really exciting. So he's going to be curating a whole week of that stuff. I'm working away on the Sponsor a Shoot program. Right. We've also got our fundamentals, which the shoots are very passionate about, which is kind of mental health and young people, but they use songwriting, performance poetry, creative writing as a kind of outlet of doing it. So they get a lot of artists involved with that. And yeah, just, I mean, I PP'd one of the offices yesterday, so last week and yesterday. So I've got to do the other one as well coming up. So the shoots do want to come back, and that's it's different to a lot of other organisations, but you've got to remember our shoots, home isn't the sanctuary that it is for everybody. Like for young people.
No, it's true.
And they're ready to come back, and some of them need to come back into a safe space. So I'm going to be opening the office sooner than most other people will.
Yeah.
So I've got these little jiffy bags with these P95 masks in. I'm going to be sending out to them soon because I'm more worried about the commute. I've already sorted the office out. Yeah,
the office is fine. It's the commute. It's so
yeah. So yeah, I'm more nervous than them, but they're fine. So yeah, getting the offices back open, getting them training and cracking that whip. They're all doing like Adobe Photoshop, Canva, Illustrator, InDesign.
Oh wow!
Digital. Yeah, they are, because that's what I've been doing. And we have homework club twice a week, Monday night and Thursday night, where we literally, it's really weird. We get on a Zoom like this, and we just don't talk. We just doing our work. And then someone will go, Matt, what's the answer to this? And I'll be like, so sorry, Josh,
like, whoa!
I tell you what's
I realised that you're almost there.
But because we're all together, we've got to do it. We have to make that.
Yeah. I think it's nicer. It's good.
But they've realised that they have to, even though we're opening the office, they've realised that they've got to prepare themselves for the new digital world of work. So they are all undertaking level 3 and level 4 training in all of those skills to prepare them, so that when there are jobs to be had, they can basically say, do you need me to work from home? I can do that. I've got this bank of digital skills. I'm really sorry, but the doorbell's just gone.
Get the door.
I'm so sorry. He's locked himself out.
Well, that's Natalie, and for everyone. She's got to get the door. But we are going to do some questions in a second. So if anyone has any questions, that's all right. Basically, I was just saying that you're Natalie, and we're going to be linking at Small Green Shoots Instagram down below. And thank you. If anyone's got any questions, send them through now.
And if you haven't, that's fine also.
Oh yeah, if you haven't, that's fine also.
I probably answer things you don't even want to know.
Even if it's just about my fan and where it's from.
Okay, where's the fan from, Akeil?
It's from a brand called Fangirl. Follow them on Instagram.
Do you know what? I've heard about the Fangirl. What a great name.
I know, how cool.
Isn't it? I love it. But you know what? We should do? We've got to get Queerbruk ones done. No,
so that's what's happening. That's why she sent me one. Yeah, sorry to reveal it now to everyone, but yeah, we're doing I'm doing a little collab, and we're doing a Queerbruk fan.
Inspired. I love it.
Yeah. So if there's no questions, 1 second, I'm going to look at the Q&A. No questions. I think we can say goodbye.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Great to see you, Rao.
Yeah, good talk. A really great talk. Thank you for coming.
See you later. Bye.
Bye. Speak to you later.
Bye.